right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to do a Bitcoin miner update. We're going to do an update for the month of November. We follow 12 Bitcoin miners on this channel, and they have all done their November operational update. So I have a bunch of different ways I slice this up. I want to go through all of them. We're going to look at 6 different ways, and I'm going to add one other thing. I want to take a look after that at the stock performance of these. I want to take a look after that at the stock performance of these 12 companies as well versus their operational performance, which we're going to look at in this video. So if you're new here or if you have not yet subscribed, we talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time, so feel free to hit the subscribe button below. And also, we're going for 500 likes, so please smash the like button. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to start out just straight up with the production of Bitcoin in the month of November. So this is the first chart, and you're going to see there's not a lot of changes. So on this chart, you're going to see a number on the top and then a number in parentheses on the bottom. And the number in parentheses is where the company ranked last month. So you can see at the top of this list, 1 through 6 remained the same. There were a few flips down here at the bottom of the list. And there's a few companies starting to pull away. So let's just start at the top. Marathon, 907 Bitcoin mined. That was a huge increase month over month for them. Marathon had a big month in November, so they were in first place by a mile. CleanSpark, 622 Bitcoin mined. I thought their operational report was good. I did do a deep dive on that. You can check that out if you want. So 622 Bitcoin, that was in second place by quite a bit. And then Riot, at 495 is in third place by quite a bit. So I actually did do a deep dive on that as well. It just came out, so you can check that out. Then we jump down to number 4, Iron at 379, and rounding out the top 5 is Core Scientific at 314. So the one thing I will say is Core Scientific does not have a lot of growth plans on the Bitcoin mining side of things. They have split their businesses into 2 parts, and they're really growing the high-performance computing AI side of their business. So their numbers are kind of evening out, and I think some people are going to pass them. A few already have. So Core Scientific was in first place overall in years past. They're slipped down to 5th, and Bitfarms has stayed steady in 6th place at 204 Bitcoin. So you can see this goes all the way down to, there's some companies down here not mining very much Bitcoin. Wolf 115, Hive 103, Hut 94 Bitcoin, and then BitDigital just 45 Bitcoin. BitDigital really has not adjusted or increased their fleet all year this year pretty much. So you can see there's starting to be a huge discrepancy. We already knocked this list down from 19 companies down to 12 companies. So in 2025, I think we're going to consider, are there a few companies that are maybe falling behind far enough that we should knock them off the list? Drop in the comments below if you think there's some here at the bottom that just aren't going to keep up, that you don't really care about or don't want to follow anymore. Okay, that brings me to the second list. This chart is Bitcoin mined year to date. So you're going to see Marathon is in first place again, really by quite a bit, by a couple of thousand Bitcoin, 8,561 Bitcoin mined year to date through November. CleanSpark did pull into second place. So you'll see last month they were third place and Core Scientific was second. So just as we talked about, Core Scientific is sliding down this list. In 2023, they were number 1 on this list for the year. In 2022, they were number 1 on this list for the year. In 2024, it looks like they're going to finish in third place because CleanSpark is mining quite a bit more per month than Core Scientific at this point. So they did just pass them this month. So it looks like they will finish in second place. And I'm expecting Core Scientific to drop even further down the list. I think next year you could see them at 5 or 6 or maybe even 7th place on this chart. So obviously we'll have to wait and see what happens. They could change their plans in between now and then, but this is fairly consistent. You'll see this list actually stayed the same. Other than CleanSpark passing Core Scientific, 1 through 12 were the same on this list. And you can also see there's a group here starting to separate themselves from the rest. Okay, next chart. This is exahash. So this is operational exahash. This is not what was active and hashing. So companies report both, and there are a few companies that have, a lower percentage of their overall hash rate that's active. So I would say it ranges anywhere from 80% to 99% based on the company. But this is total hash rate that's up and running available for hashing. So again, in first place by a mile, you've got Marathon at 46.1. I would think in their December, they're going to announced that they are over 50 exahash. We have several companies planning to get over 50 exahash in 2025. So there's a lot of growth left to come if everybody stays on their plan. So in second place is now CleanSpark at 33.7 exahash. They expect, I think, to get to 37 or 38 by the end of the year. Riot is at 30.8. They're talking about getting to 35. So Iron is at 28, and they're talking about getting to 31 by the end of the year. And then again, you can see it falls off quite a bit from there. So some of these companies that have these lower numbers do have big growth plans for 2025. We're just going to have to wait and see if they can implement those plans and start to compete with these four at the top that are really starting to run away from the field. Okay, next on the list is Hodl. So there's really four companies you can see that have big HODL positions and one significantly bigger than the rest. But there are a total of 9 companies that have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So Marathon, as of the November 30th update, had 34,959. They have subsequently reported that they are now over 40,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So Marathon not only is holding 100% of the Bitcoin that they mine, but they are buying Bitcoin. So they borrowed $2 billion over the last 30 days. Convertible notes, and they have gone out and bought a lot of Bitcoin with that. So again, they're over 40,000. They're almost 4 times the second place, which is Riot, over 11,000. So Riot's in 11th place with 11,425 as of November 30th. However, they just got about $600 million in convertible debt, and they did say that one of the things they're going to do with that, in addition to just run daily operations, they're going to hold their Bitcoin, and they're looking to start buying Bitcoin. So I don't think it's going to be anywhere near on the scale that Marathon is doing, but I think you can expect to see Riot's HODL positions start to increase dramatically as well. You've got CleanSpark this month, which just finally passed HUT. HUT has been in 3rd place on this list. HUT has basically stayed at about the same number all year since their merger of equals last November 30th. But they raised some money, and they're talking about buying some Bitcoin as well. So we'll have to see. CleanSpark is hodling most of their Bitcoin. Each month all year, they've been somewhere between 95 and 99% of their Bitcoin hodled. So they're hodling their Bitcoin, and you can see finally it took almost the entire year, but they have now passed HUT, and they are in 3rd place with 9,297, and HUT is in 4th place with 9,122. So those 4 companies have significant stacks on their balance sheet. So I would say that, when looking at the stocks, one of the things that I look at, and again, none of this is financial advice, but to me, the companies that have a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, if Bitcoin has a big run and gets to some of these giant numbers that people are talking about by the end of this cycle, 150,000, 200,000, I've heard people talk about numbers much higher than that. Obviously, we're not at any of those numbers yet, although the day I'm making this video, we did just hit 108,000, so I'm not sure when this will get released. So you can see in 5th place, then there's a big drop off down to 2,713. So Hive continues to hodl some of their Bitcoin, and then you can see we have Cypher, Bitfarms, BitDigital, and BitDeer with small amounts of Bitcoin as well. Okay, this just shows what each company hodled just in the month of November alone. So you can see CleanSpark, which mines 622, hodled 596, so they kept most of their Bitcoin. Riot, which mined 495, actually is up 497 on the month. And Marathon went and bought a bunch of Bitcoin, so they actually increased their HODL position by over 7,000 in the month of November. You can see Hive and BitDeer are saving some of their HODL, most of actually what they're mining, as is BitDigital, and then HUT did add 12. But you can see there's really only 3 companies at this point that are adding a significant amount to their HODL position. If HUT chooses to buy Bitcoin, as they indicated in their press release, then you may see some bigger numbers from them in the future as well. Okay, this next one is fleet efficiency. So this is one I've recently been able to add. A lot of companies weren't reporting this. We're now down to only 3 of the 12 companies we follow not reporting this in their monthly operational report. They are Marathon, BitDeer, and BitDigital. So we can't really be sure where those 3 are right now, but I will say with BitDigital, they really haven't added any new machines to their fleet this year, so I would suspect they're somewhere in the neighborhood of where HUT is. That is total speculation on my part. It's not a number they're reporting, so hopefully these 3 companies will start reporting this and be consistent with the other 9 that are already reporting. And you can see HUT is in last place on this list. They are at 31.7. So obviously, your mining efficiency, this is joules per terahash. The lower the number, the better, the more efficient your fleet is. So HUT did put out an announcement. They're looking to buy 15 exahash of new machines next year, and they're looking to get this 31.7 down somewhere around 19. So, that may take them 6 to 8 months, but that is their target. So they're looking to get competitive with the rest of the field. Core Scientific didn't really buy any machines this year either. They continue to just run the very large fleet that they had. At a point, they were the largest fleet out of all the Bitcoin miners. So they're in second last place at 24.8. And I'm not sure how much that number is going to improve over time. We're going to have to wait and see. Then we jump down into the 22s. So Riot and Hive are tied at 22.3. Bitfarms, while they've failed to grow their exahash as promised by the end of the year, they have fallen behind pace in growth. They have dramatically reduced their joules per terahash, so they are at 21. And then Cypher at 20.8, TeraWolf at 19.2, CleanSpark at 19.05 in second place, and then in first place by a lot is Iron at 15 joules per terahash. So I do think everybody will continue to chip away, buy new machines, retire some old machines, and these numbers will keep going down over time. So hopefully we'll get everybody else to report them as well. So in light of all that information, I just want to show you guys a chart of the stock performance for these companies year to date, because it varies dramatically. Some of these companies are doing very well, the stock, and some of them are doing very poorly. So if we take a look at this is as of Tuesday, December 17th. You're going to see at the top of this list, TeraWolf is up 247% this year. So they are in first place. You're going to see Bitcoin at the time of making this video was up 154% on the year. So there's only 2 Bitcoin miners that are outperforming Bitcoin. We have 4 more here that are doing well. Cypher's up 79%, Iron's up 93%, BitDeer up 115%, and Hup up 127%. That's year to date. But then you'll see a big drop off. And it's worth noting, CleanSpark up 12% year to date, Marathon up 6% year to date. These are by far the 2 biggest Bitcoin miners. They mine the most Bitcoin. They have the most exahash. They have the largest hodl positions. So the market really hasn't been rewarding those things. We're going to see if that changes as Bitcoin continues to rise through the bull market. And then you actually still have 3 that are in the red this year, meaning they're lower than they were on January 1st. So Riot is down 8% on the year, although I will say they have been rallying recently. They were down as much as 55% in the middle of the year. So they're almost back to break even. But again, that's not what you're looking for from your Bitcoin miner in a year that Bitcoin was up 154%. So Riot down 8%, Hive down 14%, and Bitfarms in dead last down 28%. So those are worth taking a look at. Is there a reason that those are in last place? Are those companies failing operationally based on what we just looked at? Or is there potentially an opportunity in there somewhere? So obviously that's for you to do your due diligence and for you to decide. That is what is going on with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners in the month of November. So thanks so much for watching. If you made it so far, please remember to smash the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.